Hello and a very warm welcome to this special presentation. It's time for game number 2 on this Sunday blockbuster where Royal Challengers Bangalore will take on Punjab Kings, even as the match that is going on right now in Brabant Stadium is going right down to the wire. But the match coming up is Punjab Kings versus Royal Challengers Bangalore. Mayank Agarwal, the new captain of Punjab Kings, versus the new captain in Faf du Plessis of Royal Challengers Bangalore. So yes, that is the big match coming up. I have with me Vedam Jaishankar, senior journalist, writer. Also with me Nikhil Narayan to discuss the squad, what is expected. We'll also get Vedam to talk about whether he really thinks RCB will make it to the playoffs. And I think I've said it so many times that he'll probably tell me that I'll jinx it. But let's get straight into it, guys. Royal Challengers Bangalore have a good lineup. When you compare them to Punjab Kings on paper, Punjab Kings definitely more balanced. Vedam?
Yeah, I think Punjab Kings bowling is looks a lot weaker this time, much weaker actually. And I think that should be a big problem for them, especially if they have to defend a target. They will find that very difficult. But the Royal Challengers, I think, have an excellent bowling attack. They've got 3 outstanding pacemen. They will be missing UZ Chahal, of course, but I think they still are okay with as far as the spin combination is concerned. And of course, people like Virat, Kohli and Faf du Plessis are very good at chasing. So I think Punjab, if they have to defend a target, would find it extremely difficult. But on the other hand, Punjab has come really good batsmen in Shikhar Dhawan, Livingston, of course, Shah Rukh Khan, who comes later down the order, and the captain, of course, Mayank Agarwal. So Punjab has got good batting, but I'm not so impressed with their bowling, especially the medium pace bowling.
Sure. And right now, the news coming from DY Patil is that Punjab Kings have won the toss, and no surprises there, have opted to field first. I think that's been the trend that we've seen so far in all the matches. All teams not taking any chances, Nikhil. Just making sure, again, with DY Patil, don't know what the pitch is going to be like. So Punjab Kings winning the toss and electing to field first. Also, if you look at DY Patil and the records, teams chasing tend to have an advantage. So in that sense as well, Punjab will be happy with that toss. But Vedam is right about this, isn't that? So this will also come down to Punjab's batting versus RCB's bowling.
Absolutely. You know, Punjab's batting is their strength. The bowling is a little weak. They don't have all their overseas players available for the first encounter. And RCB's strength, I mean, it is a top heavy batting unit and also their bowling. So it's interesting. It is going to be between RCB's bowling and batting of Punjab Kings.
That's right. But as we were just showing, that pitch is a pitch that will favor fast bowling. And so in that sense, there will be, you can expect a lot of runs, but at the same time, help for the faster bowlers. This is a bigger ground than Brabant and Wankhede, so that'll also be interesting as to what happens here. But yes, toss an important part, and it's been won by Punjab Kings. Okay, let's get into the specifics now. As we've seen in the tournament so far, that there are teams now missing key players. Today, it's no different. Josh Hazlewood is not part of the RCB side, Vedam, as well as Glenn Maxwell. Now, how much of an impact this is likely to make? Because you know that as soon as they come in, my only problem is, in all these situations, is that the person who's replacing them at the moment, if they end up doing well in those 2-3 matches, how do you tell them that, look, our first choice players coming back, please sit outside?
Yeah, actually the man in form will always get precedence. That's what we've seen in T20 cricket, and that's the right way to go. So if the man is in form, yes, Maxwell, of course, will definitely be missed because one is, I think he has a score to settle with Punjab. So that would be the plus point if he was with the RCB team. The second thing is, he, as a cricketer itself, is outstanding. He's an explosive batsman, and he can really take away the match from the rivals. So yes, Maxwell will be missed. But as far as the bowling is concerned, I think with David Willey, Siraj and Harshal Patel, the RCB team is on a very, very good wicket. They've got 3 extremely good fast bowlers. And if there is a little bit of dew in the early in the innings and the ball starts skidding through, I think these three will cause quite a lot of damage. It's only when the ball gets really soggy and wet then it becomes a problem. But if there's a slight bit of dew and the ball is still dry, then a good fast bowler can be quite a handful.
Okay, so people who are joining us right now, Punjab Kings have won the toss. They've opted to field first at the D.Y. Patil Stadium against Royal Challengers Bangalore. Now, the other player missing from today's contest is Kagiso Rabada, and Punjab Kings will miss him. He is the one player, Nikhil, we spoke about this after the auctions. Well, one player they made their bowling around. I mean, that was important to them, and we know what Kagiso Rabada can do. In that sense, this is going to be problematic for them. Of course, when he joins, things will be different. But for now, how much of an impact will that have?
A big impact, because he is the one world-class bowler in the Punjab Kings unit. He was brilliant for Delhi Capitals. Yeah. The 2-3 seasons he played for them. He's one of the greatest Test bowlers in the history of Test cricket. His USP is his bowling strike rate. The number of deliveries he takes to pick up a wicket. So yeah. Kagiso Rabada is a strike bowler, and he's a strike bowler in the power play. He's not so good at the death. So therefore, I think it's a massive, massive blow for Punjab Kings.
Now, I've just been trying to scroll down to see what the playing 11 are going to be for the two teams. But even as we wait on that, for Royal Challengers Bangalore, Vedam, there is going to be this problem of whether Virat Kohli should open for them or whether Anuj Rawat should be given a chance to open with Faf du Plessis. Because in the absence of Glenn Maxwell, now this will get far more difficult for them. They would want Virat Kohli or someone of his experience, either him or Faf, to even play in the middle order. But having said that, Virat Kohli against the spinners hasn't been the most successful in the recent times. So how do you see that?
Yeah, actually you have a point there. You're very right about it. But look at it. I look at it this way. With Maxwell there, it's a bigger problem. Because if Maxwell is there and he comes at 3, then Virat Kohli in a 2020 match comes at number 4. That's not on, really. You need your best batsman to get as many deliveries as possible up front. So I would prefer Virat Kohli going opening regularly, but maybe not in this game. Maybe Faf du Plessis and Anuj Rawat can open with Virat Kohli coming at number 3. I think that will add a little more depth to the batting. But when Maxwell comes, I think that's a pleasant headache to have.
Okay, also there is another match on, gentlemen, and Delhi needs, I think, 22 runs off 17 balls. The last time I checked, they needed 40 off some 27 balls. So things are heating up at the Brabant Stadium as well. And, I'll try and get to the score, but just, this is wonderful about this IPL. It's the second game, and we already have a nail-biter, Nikhil, isn't that? So, I mean, this is why we love IPL in a sense. But just coming back to RCB and to Punjab Kings, Mayank Agarwal and the captaincy part of it. Yes, team management have said, look, we've kept you, you're part of our team, we're going to give you the reins of captaincy. But how will that impact his batting? Will it impact his batting at all? Because Mayank Agarwal, the batsman, is just as important to this side.
Yeah, I mean, he's the unsung hero. He's been the unsung hero of Punjab Kings. He always played in the shadow of KL Rahul.
Yeah.
But now he's got the captaincy. I don't know whether he's a natural captain or not. So it could work both ways. Maybe it inspires him. The real Agarwal comes out, although he has been a very good batsman. But also maybe the pressure of captaincy, more responsibility bogs him down and he anchors the innings. It will be detrimental. It will be similar to what KL Rahul did for Punjab, and it did not work for them. So Agarwal needs to continue to play aggressive at the top of the order, and with the depth they have, Meha, in the batting lineup, the explosive batting lineup, he can afford to do so.
Who would have thought that Lalit Yadav and Akshar Patel would be turning things around for Delhi Capitals? I mean, if there were two players who you would have expected in the game against Mumbai Indians to turn things around with the bat, I don't think we would have thought those two names would have been Lalit Yadav and Akshar Patel, and they are doing it. 42 of 35 for Lalit Yadav, and Akshar Patel's got 28 of 15. Need 11 runs of 14 balls. So things have completely turned on its head for Mumbai Indians. DC now showing who the boss is. But it is going right down to the wire. We'll also try to keep coming back to that game. Just coming back to PBKS now, Shikhar Dhawan at the top, Vedam, the fact that KL Rahul leaves you, who's been phenomenal and in red hot form as your captain and the highest run scorer in IPL, you needed someone in as his replacement, and they couldn't have got anybody better than Shikhar Dhawan and the kind of experience he has, and on top of that, the kind of resurgence one has seen in Shikhar Dhawan in the last 2 years.
I agree with you there totally, Meha. But when I look at the Punjab Kings team and the absence of somebody like KL Rahul, you look at the Punjab 11 squad and they don't really have a captaincy material. Somebody on whom Mayank Agarwal can fall back on if he needs advice. He himself is leading for the first time. So if he has to look to the dressing room all the time for advice and guidance, that's not very good, because this is like, the slice advantage that they say, that in T20 cricket, you have to think at the spur of the moment, you have to think on your feet and move along. And that's going to be a challenge in a closely contested tie.
Okay, so sorry, I'll just have to cut you there. I'll come back. But let's just also take everybody through the playing 11 for Punjab Kings. Mayank Agarwal, of course, Shikhar Dhawan, there's Lim Livingstone. All expected. Bhanuka Rajapaksha, as we said in our likely 11, he's there in place of Glenn Maxwell, Odean Smith, Shah Rukh Khan, Raj Angad Bawa for his performance in the Under-19 World Cup. He's been rewarded with a cap. There is Arshdeep Singh, Harpreet Brar, there is Sandeep Sharma, and there's a very interesting stat that we were talking about, Nikhil and I, that he had caught Virat Kohli some 7-8 times.
Maximum in the IPL.
Maximum in the IPL. So that's one matchup that we're looking forward to. Sandeep Sharma is there, and then there is Rahul Chahar. Along expected lines, this was what we would have, we said even in the likely 11. But Nikhil, I think Raj Angad Bawa, why not?
Why not? Of course, he was, one of the best all-rounders for India in the Under-19 World Cup victory. Powerful hitter in the middle order, a useful bowler. I'm happy he's got a game early in the tournament.
Okay, now the playing 11 for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Faf du Plessis, Anuj Rawat, Dinesh Karthik, Sherfan Rutherford, again along expected lines, no changes there. Virat Kohli, David Willey, Manindu Hasaranga, Shahbaz Ahmed, Harshal Patel, Mohammad Siraj, and so that's the team right now for Royal Challengers Bangalore. What do you think of that, Vedam? This was the team. This is the best 11 that they could have put, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. And it's on expected lines. One Maxwell not available. But I would like to see Hasaranga how he does, because they paid a lot of money for him. In the case of Mumbai Indians, they paid a lot of money for Ishan Kishan, and he came good in the very first game. And we would expect Hasaranga too to deliver that kind of goods. But yes, Royal Challengers have a good side, and I think they're a better side than Punjab Kings. But let's see how it goes, especially with the dew factor very much present for the second innings.
Okay, and the news that is coming from Brabon is Delhi Capitals have won the game by 4 wickets. And I don't think at one point when they were 5 down for some 80-odd runs that anybody thought that they'd be able to do it, Nikhil. But it has been quite a turnaround. And of course, the heroes of that would be Lalit Yadav and Akshar Patel.
Yeah, I mean, Lalit Yadav 48-38, he anchored the innings, strike rate of 126. But Akshar Patel, 38 of 17, strike rate of 223. So he missed out with the ball today, but with the bat, I mean, he's a competitor. And he's just like Ravindra Jadeja, a brilliant all-rounder, and, what a performance.
He's hitting Daniel Sams for a 6, Jasprit Bumrah for 4s.
Yeah, this is a completely unexpected win.
And unexpected, but why not, right? I mean, Lalit Yadav and Akshar Patel. Akshar Patel, we know, can, bat like this. But to do it in their first match, this would give them a lot of confidence.
It will give them a lot of confidence, but this is also the beauty of IPL. Like last year, we had Venkatesh Iyer doing very well. Before that, it was Devdutt Padikkal. and now suddenly Lalit Yadav comes and pulls off a miracle. And that too against a strong team like Mumbai Indians, It's not an ordinary team, it's a very strong team. And it's got an excellent bowling attack, Mumbai Indians. He's done it against them. So I think teams will look up to him and see what he is up to and maybe make plans for him. See, what happens in most of these initial matches is I would say smaller players, I won't even call them the lesser fry. I just say that people, unknown players, The unknown players, you don't have plans for them. You got plans for a Virat Kohli, you got plans for a Maxwell, you got for others. But when you get ambushed by some of these players whom you don't have enough data on, or on whom you have not prepared enough, that becomes a challenge. I don't think any team had data on Venkatesh Iyer last year or before that Devdutt Padikkal. And same way I think this year also, especially from these under-19 teams, if 2 or 3 guys come good, now the teams will realize that they have to make a lot of preparations, they have to make a lot of plans, and they need to have data on each and every player over there. And that's going to be the challenge, and that's going to be the beauty of the IPL this year.
That's right. And also one thing for Delhi Capitals is that 5 out of their 7 foreign players are not available at the moment. And they would walk into the playing 11 as soon as they're in with David Warner. But Tim Seifert actually did get off to a good start. He did get out. Couldn't get to a big total, Nikhil. But David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, right now you don't have Anrik Nokia, you don't have Mustafizur, you don't have Lungi Ngidi. So some of their first choice players are not even there, and then for them to make that kind of a turnaround, this really is quite something and would give them tremendous amount of confidence. But just coming back to Royal Challengers Bangalore and Punjab Kings now, it's prediction time. Vedam, come on. Who do you think?
I think I'll go with Royal Challengers because they really look the better team. The only drawback is that they are going to defend a target, but I think they are a better team even when you look at it. Punjab doesn't have the bowling to be really of a serious consequence. And we know that Royal Challenge has the batting. It's a good batting lineup and it's an excellent bowling lineup. And especially this particular match with the playing 11s in contention, I think the Royal Challengers Bangalore playing 11 is far better than the Punjab playing 11. But like I said during the first match, one innings, one bowling performance can change the match around. We saw that in that Mumbai match. One good innings from Lalit Yadav and they were gone.
Spoken like a true RCB fan.
I'm not a fan. Honestly, I'm not a fan.
Okay, you will never admit to this, but you have a soft corner. You've got a soft corner.
A fan is a fanatical person. Please understand that. A fan is a fanatical person. I'm a journalist, not a fan. A fan will understood. Forgives
journalists hate being called
heroes
fans.
all their issues.
I understand.
I'm not a fan. I'm a journalist.
Okay, I know journalists hate being called fans.
No, I'm not a fan.
Exactly. I am for one against that idea, but I do believe that you have a soft corner for RCB. Now, come on. That you can admit to.
I have a soft corner for a lot of RCB products. Diageo products. Okay. I will accept that.
Okay. Not a fan then. Okay. I'm going to take that back. Not a fan. But between the two teams, Vedam is convinced that RCB are better on paper. For you, do you agree?
Punjab Kings don't have all their bowling resources, so I think maybe in this match, yes, but I still think Punjab Kings has the firepower in the batting, and I'll give them 55-45 to Punjab Kings.
Okay, let's also take a look at the X factor. We think players will make a difference for the two teams. For Punjab, I would think Livingstone. Nikhil, do you believe that Liam Livingstone? I mean, what he's done in England with the 100, there you see that fastest T20 international 100 for England, then 348 runs at a strike rate of 178. If he can get going, I know he hasn't really done well in the IPL, but if he can get going, then this team gets even stronger, because then you have Odean Smith to finish off the innings for you. Yeah,
for me, he's the X factor, Livingstone, because of his ability to clear any boundary in the world. Explosive batsman, all the shots in the book, T20 strike rate around 145, brilliant in the inaugural season of the 100, the fastest century ever for England in T20 internationals. So I think Livingstone, and he's not done well in the IPL, this is his chance. A lot of money has been paid for him. I think Livingstone is the X factor for Punjab Kings.
Okay, for Royal Challengers Bangalore, also Vedam, one of the key things would be Virat Kohli's performance in this. It's always been top heavy. We've seen, and this time, even as much as they wouldn't have wanted it this way, this team is, about the top guys. Middle order, still there are some holes there to plug. But top order, and specifically Virat Kohli, given the kind of form that he's been in, yes, he's now relinquished captaincy. So he doesn't have that pressure. He's not captaining India. Do you see a change in Virat Kohli this time around?
See, Virat Kohli, everybody knows Virat Kohli, what he is capable of. That's his strength. And if he gets going, yes, he's one of the finest batsmen in the world. There's no doubt about it. And there's nobody who can stop him, especially on these pitches and on these grounds. But for me, the X factor in Punjab 11 is Shah Rukh Khan. He's a good middle order, he's a good striker, and he's a guy who can ambush you. He's there. And in the RCB side, I would like to go on David Willey. And I go on David Willey especially for this match because you're going to be bowling second. And they've got a lot of experience bowling in England where the ball is wet and conditions are wet. And if he works the due to his favor, I think he'd be a great asset for RCB, especially if they have to defend a target. So I look forward to him delivering. And if he can deliver, I think RCB is on velvet.
Okay, also Faf du Plessis, and I want to see how he captains this side because he is, we've discussed this, when they were unveiling the captain, Nikhil, and one thing was that RCB, would they go in for Glenn Maxwell, who's, captained his BBL side, or would they go in for Faf du Plessis? And I want to see how, I know Faf du Plessis has done this in the past for his team, South African team, but in the IPL he's never done it. And how will that be? He's respected among the peers, among his team, no doubt about it. In world cricket, he's a respected person. Virat Kohli, I'm sure, will have that nice bonding with him. But Faf du Plessis as the captain of RCB, how do you see him performing?
I think he'll do well as a captain because he commands respect. He is one of the best South African batsmen in the new millennium. What I want to see is what role Faf du Plessis, the batsman, does he play the anchor or does he play aggressor? Because CSK did well last season with him giving the explosive starts at the top of the order with Ruturaj Gaikwad. He did that in 2020 also, although they did not make the playoffs. And it's important for Faf du Plessis to provide that impetus at the start, especially if Virat Kohli opens and Virat Kohli again decides to anchor the innings.
Vedam, also talking about Punjab Kings, you said Shah Rukh Khan being one of them, but I also see this team and the thing that stands out is when you have Shikhar Dhawan at the top, like I was telling Nikhil as well, Liam Livingstone in the middle and Odean Smith to finish the innings, you do see that this is a good side, and then you add Shah Rukh Khan to it, you add Mayank Agarwal to it. That's where I'm saying that this is really a absolutely powerful batting lineup.
No, I agree with you. It's a very powerful batting lineup. But, my issue again with Livingstone, for example, is, he is not used to these conditions. He could be a big threat 2, 3 or 4 matches down the line. But these are early days. He's not used to the condition. He's not used to the sweat or the humidity in Bombay, and of course the pitch conditions. So that he gets some time getting used to it. So I'm not so sure if he can deliver immediately, but like you said, if he can deliver immediately, then it's, it's very good for Punjab. But I would expect people, especially the foreign components, to be able to deliver a little later in the tournament, maybe by the 5th or 6th match. That's how I look at it. It's the Indian component really which has to kick in right from the start. And we've seen in this Mumbai match, it is the Indian component which really kicked in and did well. And whether it was Murugan Ashwin or whether it was Yadav, these are the guys who are really doing well. And that is the trend which will go on for the first maybe few matches till the foreign component, get used to the conditions and start delivering. That's how I feel or see it.
Yeah.
The difference may be when players come from Pakistan, because they had already been in Pakistan for more than 1.5 months, the Australian players, and they'll be used to these conditions.
That's an interesting one, where you know how the players who've been in Pakistan, how they are going to play here, because they would be used to those conditions. But also, in the end, I think then it'll just come down to Nikhil, RCB's bowling versus Punjab Kings batting.
Yeah, that is the contest today, as we've discussed. RCB has one of the best bowling units in the tournament, along with Rajasthan Royals, and Punjab Kings, for me, has the best batting unit overall in the tournament. So that is the contest for me today: RCB's bowling versus Punjab Kings batting.
Okay, yes, so that is the big match that we're looking forward to, Punjab Kings versus the Royal Challengers Bangalore. If you have any comments, suggestions that you want to tell us, please do comment in the comment section below. Also, if you already haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that as well. We're live on Facebook as well as on YouTube, wherever you're watching us. So do subscribe to our channel. Vedam Jaishankar, thank you so much. It's always so much fun to have you here. And you're not a fan, nor am I. It was just meant in a nice way. Yeah, so don't take it seriously. Nikhil, thank you so much once again. So yes, looking forward to what RCB are going to do against Punjab Kings. Both teams really starting fresh. This is start of a new beginning for both these teams. So yes, lots to look forward to. That's it on this special. We'll get you all the latest from IPL 2022 right here on our social media channels, as well as on our website, News 9 Digital. Thank you, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.